Good, welcome everyone to the MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management Showcase. Thanks for making time for us today, especially at the end of the year and just end of month. We do have quite an action-packed session for you, so we'll get straight into it. Just as a matter of introductions, I'm your host today, Sean Achels, ANZ Sales Director. We also have Julia Pagington, our ANZ Team Leader, who will take you through the payroll component today, as well as Sophia Sun, a Senior Consultant for Payroll and Workforce Management, who will be taking us through the workforce management components. The webinar, just a bit of housekeeping, will run for about 45 minutes. Please feel free to use the Q&A button to post any questions throughout the session. We will circle back to all those questions at the end and provide some answers. The recording will also be distributed after the session as well. As for the agenda, just wanted to touch base on identifying signs that you might have outgrown your existing software, the risks to be aware of when assessing an enterprise payroll and workforce management solution, a bit more about Kilimanjaro and how we fit into the picture here, as well as some product positioning for MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management. We'll then jump into the demo, which everyone is here to see, as well as circle back right at the end to our implementation methodology as well. So signs you may have outgrown your current software. These are really just indicators that we come across when dealing with a lot of businesses, that they may have pushed their current software to the limit and maybe have outgrown the software and need to look for something bigger and better. Just thought we'd share a few of these today. You know, it might be that you're struggling with more manual processes. You've got a lot more employees you're dealing with. There's many more locations you need to look after. You're finding you need tools and add-ons. You're dealing with increased volumes. There's remote operations, multiple ABNs that payroll might work across now. There's integrations, there's performance issues you're experiencing. Separation of responsibilities has become a key feature for you. Reporting always key, and automation. So those are just some indicators that we come across when companies do start to look for something bigger and better. There are risks, however, when looking at enterprise software, and there are three types of risks to be aware of, and we help minimize this risk within MYOB. The first risk is software risk. Obviously, it's an MYOB-backed product, substantial company, not going anywhere, so you can minimize the risk there. A lot of money being poured into the R&D and development of the product. New functionality that comes out through the automatic upgrades all the time is just phenomenal. The second risk there is implementation risk. I'll provide you some further information on Kilimanjaro shortly, but we are the largest channel partner in ANZ, and we would help you on this journey of implementing the software. That's at the core of who we are and what we do. Self-inflicted risk is really just risk there to remind you that you will need someone internally to drive a project when putting in a piece of software like MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management. A bit more about Kilimanjaro Consulting. We are the largest channel partner, as I mentioned. We've been around since 2006. We're part of the Enterprise Group, a publicly listed company in New Zealand. We're about 119 specialists now across ANZ. We only focus on the enterprise products of MYOB, nationally based in Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Parramatta, WA, and multiple offices now in New Zealand as well. Our core purpose, though, is to improve efficiency in businesses through the clever use of creative, innovative, and proven technology. We are a professional services company. We do charge for our time. However, we can only do that if we improve efficiency. The worst thing an organization can do is take existing process from one system into a new system without efficiency gains. There has to be those improvements. And that ties in nicely with MYOB, that technology company that helps businesses succeed. So there's a good synergy there. A bit about MYOB Advanced and the product positioning of Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management. We do have MYOB Advanced Payroll with employee self-service, but there is also MYOB Advanced Workforce Management, which operates in unison with MYOB Advanced Payroll. Both of those sit on the MYOB Advanced Business Stack, which you have access to either now or in the future, but you can certainly run the Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management independently. There is a large stack of functionality behind MYOB Advanced. Obviously, today, as per the green arrow, we're just focusing on the payroll and workforce management side, which, as I mentioned, can run independently. But just be aware there is a much greater stack of functionality behind that if you need it now or in the future across, you know, everything financial, sales, purchasing, inventory, CRM, project accounting, and the list just goes on and on and on. A lot of functionality there. MYOB have taken the stance to operate MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management hosted on AWS. So everything you see on the screen there is taken care of by MYOB as part of your monthly subscription. They look after backups and maintenance and security and monitoring. Your data is encrypted at rest and in traffic. All your data is absolutely in Australia. We've got a lot of government agencies and financial institutions running MYOB Advanced. The data has to be in Australia, which it is. And it obviously meets a lot of the compliance in the bottom right-hand corner there as well. Just before we jump into the demos, just some core benefits hopefully you'll see today coming out of the MYOB Advanced Payroll demo. It's a cloud-based solution, absolutely. They're powerful configuration options. It's secure, hosted on AWS, as I mentioned. There are more tools and add-ons available if we need to go outside of the core product. There's enhanced reporting. You'll see full auditing capabilities, mobility through the portal or through an app for your phone, iOS and Android. Separation of responsibilities is taken care of. Automated MYOB updates, absolutely. A lot of automation and workflows. Employee self-service, as I mentioned, and obviously integrated with workforce management and finance if you needed it in the future. From a workforce management point of view, very structured onboarding, flexible onboarding process. Sophia will take you through, once again, powerful configuration options, the ability to manage workforces with teams across multiple locations, clock in and clock out functionality and capability, the ability to quickly and easily create and manage rosters, leave workflows, push notifications, once again integrated with payroll and workforce management, finance, all part of the exact same solution, mobility, and really empowering your employees to manage their personal details in the platform, timesheets with approval workflows, and the ability to accurately cost shifts as well. But let's see all of that in action. I'm going to hand over to Sophia for the workforce management component. As mentioned, please post any questions in the Q&A. We'll circle back to the answers at the end of the session. And Sophia, over to you.
Thank you, Sean. Hi, everyone. Workforce management currently is a module fully integrated into MYOB Advanced Payroll site. It incorporates some great features such as employee onboarding, rostering, timesheets management, award interpretation, and employee mobile app, etc. Today, I will walk you through these key functions in the system to give you a clear understanding about how this system could help you to manage the key activities across your business. As you can see, I've logged in as a system administrator. Firstly, in the upper left corner here, we can see there's a company location hierarchy based on your organizational chart. If we navigate to a single location, the information pertaining to this single location will be presented in the system. Below that, we can see several reminders such as unapproved leave requests, unapproved timesheets, etc. For example, these employee requirements, this highlights the expired qualifications and visa reports of your employees. Below that, we can see several graphs suggesting different key information about your business, such as employee lateness reports. In the upper hand side, we can see today's staff, showing who are on roster, who are on shift, and who have finished for the day. We all know that employment life cycle starts with onboarding. As Sean has just mentioned, MYOB Workforce Management allows the paperless and seamless onboarding process. There are a lot of customizations in the onboarding configurations. I will give you a few examples here. We could set up the employee probational period. We can also specify the company default spirit fund. There are also a lot of the customizations such as the company logo, theming, etc. One of the features that I want to highlight to you is about the customized onboarding flows. Onboarding flows in the system refers to the steps that employees need to undertake during their onboarding process. There are some default onboarding flows, such as the employee personal details, employee tax declaration, bank details, etc. On top of that, we could customize the onboarding flow steps based on the different locations and the positions that you are hiring for. For example, we could specify the requirements for qualifications or visa reports that you require your employees to upload during the onboarding process. Or alternatively, we can share the documents with the employees so that employees can view and sign during the onboarding process, such as these company policies and handbooks. Apart from that, we could adjust the sequence of each steps based on your requirements as well. After we have configured the onboarding flow steps, then the HR administrator could invite your new employee to join your company. If we click on here, in this session, we can enter the basic details of our potential employee so the employee can receive an onboarding link in their personal email account. We need to provide the employee basic details such as their name, email address, location, position, etc. Permission group in the system refers to employee as a user, what they can do and can see. There are some default permission groups such as administrator, employee, manager, etc. But we can always customize our own permission groups. Then we need to key in the employee pay information, pay rules, etc. Then we need to upload a document which is specific for this individual employee only, such as their letter of offer. In the end, we can choose the onboarding flow steps that you want this individual employee to undertake during the onboarding process. Once we click Invite Employee, in the employee's personal email account, they will receive an email like this. In the front page, employee will see their basic pay information, reporting manager, etc. To access the onboarding portal, they can click on this Go to Onboarding link. This directs them to the onboarding portal. The system supports various devices, such as employees' mobile phones or their computers, tablets, etc. To acknowledge the job details, if we click Sign, this captures the employee's IP address. It is categorized as electronic signature in Australia and New Zealand. And the employees need to go through the flow steps that we have set up for them. I have pre-populated our onboarding sample employees information already in the onboarding process. We can see we need to provide the employee's personal details in this page. Then the employees can upload their personal identifications in this page. In this page, employees could upload any documents or qualifications that we require them to upload. We can also specify expiry date. TFN declaration in this page. Bank details in this page. The system allows a split of bank account with the percentage or amount. This will be synchronized back to payroll as well. Superannuation in this page, emergency contact in this page. In the end, employees will upload the documents that we have uploaded for them to view and acknowledge. Once the employee went through all these documents, in the end, employee will need to click this submit button. At the same time, employee will receive an email like this, showing them how to access their employee mobile app. They also obtain a copy of their documents that they have viewed and signed during the onboarding process. At the same time, the employee profile will be pushed through to both Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management. Now, I'm going to log in as a sample employee in the employee's mobile app. So you can have a view about how the employee's mobile app looks like. As you can see, I've logged in as our sample employee Greg today. In the upper right corner, employees can view their personal details and their financial details in this page. The employee can also change their password. This shift requires icon allows the manager or administrator to send a shift request to the employees, so the employees can decline the request or accept the shift request in the employee mobile app. Firstly, we can see that in the dashboard, employees roster today. In the roster tile here, employee can see their upcoming rosters. In the leave and the availability icon, employees can see the historical leave request with an update of their leave request status, such as pending, approved, or payrolled. To apply for a new leave request, employee can click New Request, specify the date or date range for the leave request, and selecting the leave type. For each leave type, the system could be configured whether you share the leave balances with employees or not. Selecting the leave type, put a note here. We can also upload a document such as the medical certificate. Click on Next, Submit. Now the leave request has been sent to the manager approval portal for approval. In this documents tile, the managers can share the documents with the employees in their mobile app. In the payroll tile, employees can access their payslips. In the clock in, clock out tile here, employees could clock in, clock out, or start their break or end break. If we click on clock in, now the system will require the employees to take a photo for the facial recognition, but this is not mandatory. Clock in. The system will also be able to capture the employee's actual location based on the GPS of the mobile app. The timesheet tile allows the employee to submit a manual timesheets. It came to be very handy when the employees forgot to clock in, clock out. Then they can submit a manual timesheets after their shift. So that's pretty much about the mobile app. Now let me navigate back to our manager approval portal. Now let's look at the rostering. In the rostering page, we can view the rosters by different criteria, such as by employee, by position, by call center, etc. We can also view the roster page by different time frame. There are several options in rostering the employees. We can roster individual employee, or we can roster employees in bulk. There are several options. Firstly, add standard hours allows us to add employee standard hours from their employee master file in the roster page. Or we can copy the shifts from previous time range to the upcoming time range. Another function is called Smart Roster to work in conjunction with the templates. Basically, it means we set up the roster criteria, such as the required qualifications or the positions that we need to be rostered. Only the employees meeting the specific requirements will be able to be rostered. That's the roster page. Now let's navigate to the leave administration page here. In this page, we can see that managers could view the leave request, which has been sent through from the employee's mobile app. Managers could edit the leave request, or approve the leave request, or decline the leave request, specifying the reason. Managers could also apply for leave on behalf of the employee reporting to him or her. The system allows us to set up minimum balances for each leave type. For example, some employers don't want to share the sick leave balances with the employees, but at the same time, they don't want the leave balances become negative. We can set up a 0 as the minimum balances for sick leave. Whenever the employees apply for leave, if their sick leave balances become negative, the system will automatically turn down the leave request. We can also view these leave requests in the calendar view. So that's the leave request part. Now let's navigate to the timesheets approval portal. We can see that managers will be able to view the timesheets which have been sending through from the employee's mobile app. Managers could edit the timesheets or approve the timesheets. Firstly, we can view the timesheets by different time range based on your requirements. Secondly, we can also view these timesheets by different criteria, such as by location, by employee, by position, etc. If we view the employee timesheets by employee, we can see that the system will give you an overview about which employee is here and how many days they have been working and how many hours the employee has been working for the day. If we click on here, we can see that we are able to bulk select the timesheets and approve the timesheets in bulk here. The system will also give you a little bit of hierarchy in the timesheet approval here for options. For example, you may want the supervisors to approve the timesheets. Then we can get a higher level manager to authorize the timesheets. Then in the end, the payroll administrator could make these timesheets come into payroll and add to a payroll. At the same time, there is a system payrolls configurations here. It allows us to configure your award and your company EBAs into this a set of payrolls here. We can put the conditions of overtime, allowances, etc. here based on your different conditions and scenarios of your business. And these awards interpretations will be linked to the individual employee's profile. Whenever there is a timesheet has been created and authorized to the payroll, the award interpretation will apply. If we navigate to the payroll here, we can see a sample employee here. This is their timesheets which has been authorized and approved. And these are the pay items and the quantity which has been interpreted. Once we click finalized, these timesheets will be synchronized back to MYOB Advanced Payroll for the payroll administrator to upload the timesheets and to finalize their payroll. So that's a high-level demo about the workforce management system. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Now over to you, Jules. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sophia. That was really interesting and informative. Really appreciate it. So this is the payroll. Payroll, as Sophia said, is seamlessly linked with workforce management. Once the employees have been onboarded through workforce management, they will come into the payroll seamlessly. At that stage, we could set up emails that would go out to perhaps the payroll administrators and any management that need to know that that employee is now in the system and ready to be completed to pay for payroll. When you go into the system, you could have some dashboards available to you. It really depends on what you want to see. Once an employee is onboarded, the payroll administrator could go to the employee's details and they would be sitting as onboarding. And at this stage, there's a few things that the payroll administrator would need to do. First of all, we're going to make this employee onboarded. Once they've been onboarded, any actions that need to be taken would be here. For example, if the employee has a superannuation that is not yet on the system, the payroll administrator would need to add that. The payroll administrator then could add their payroll group. Employees could have more than one different type of payroll group. Companies could have more than one payroll group of the same type. So unlike EXO Payroll, Advanced could have many, many weekly payroll groups. The employee's salary would be in here. It would depend obviously on their standard rate or their frequency amount. That's their annual salary. We would then apply a calendar to the employee, which is also really nice. It allows you to have all the public holidays in. Once we've set up their pay groups, we would make sure that they have a standard pay. If you are importing time from Workforce Management, of course, you wouldn't need the standard hours in there. Those hours would come through from Workforce Management. However, you might have employees that only use Workforce Management for their leave approvals. And in that case, you would have a standard pay salary here. Employees could have their leave balances here. This is what they would see, or the payroll administrator would see when they were checking on the employees. Payroll tax, again, depending on which jurisdiction they're in, you could set that up here as well for these standard employees. The employees can be seen on the organization of the system as well. Here you would have their details, very important details for STP, their employment history. These financial settings are for employees that need to get paid through finance in terms of any claims that they might need to be putting in, and any other company tree information. This also can pertain to the finance system as well as the payroll. Once we've onboarded our employees and we've made any changes that are required, the payroll administrator would, through Workforce Management, calculate their pays and send that through. When that comes through, we would go and have a look at the timesheet batches. Here's the batches from Workforce Management. They would come in depending on which ones they are, which dates they're for. It would be automatically linked with your payroll information, any of the pay items that come through. At this stage, we could go in and we could open a pay run. So once we've created our pay run, as you can see here, I've got many different pay runs. I'm going to select my fortnightly run, double check my dates. At this stage, I can change them, and that's okay because I can also change them when the pay run's been open. Say okay here. This would bring any employees in to the pay run that are part of that pay group. And if you have a few thousand casual employees, don't want you to worry about this, because what we can do is we can say to that employee not to be imported into the pay run unless they're actually in that pay run to be paid, which is really fantastic. It's a nice little feature. Here's my pay run. I could put a little pay slip message in if I wanted to. I could then, at this stage, I would go and import my timesheets. That would bring any information in from Workforce Management or any outside system, as Sean said, that you may want to link in with the system. If I am using only the leave within payroll, I would also at this stage import leave. I could then check my employees reporting. Here you can see I can dump this into Excel. Anything in the system can be dumped into Excel. If I wanted to go into an employee at this stage, I could make a manual change. I could add a leave type. I could add overtime. It's as simple as that. I can look at how the leave is accruing on the screen here. I could look at all my employees' details, including any journals, any leave transactions. Back in the main screen here again as well, I could also look at my pay slips and my pay summaries. I can view my journals now to make sure that everything goes through. I can view a leave summary and any timesheet summary. Of course, once I've printed or checked all my reports, there are many, many reports in the system. One of my favorite things about Advanced is that anything and everything can be dumped into a generic inquiry, as we call it. You can pivot on screen. So if we just have a look at some information here for you. And it's really as simple as calling up that information. As you can see, I've got all this information here. I can select dates, physical pay dates, pay run dates, and I can pivot that information. I can change my pivot depending on what I want to see. Everything and anything can be dumped as a generic inquiry. If it's in the system, we can get it out for you. Of course, all your reporting, you might want to get that signed off depending on who signs off your reporting and any auditing. Once I've done that, it's as simple as going in and processing my pay. At this stage in Australia, we create the file that goes to Single Touch Payroll. It'll ask me to sign in, and it'll create my pay slips and create my file. Now, all those companies that pay more than one company when they're running payrolls, it's very simple. You can still have it on one pay run. It'll create the relevant ABA files that you would export, upload into your bank and pay the employees, and then you can release the GL. Because it's fully integrated, you could always go to finance and check your journals. And that's what they would see, the pay runs and the batch runs. People or payroll also has a superannuation portal run by MYOB. So it is through MYOB into Super Choice. You would then create the batch depending on when you pay super and upload that to the portal. Of course, Single Touch Payroll as well. It's always automatic. You just press the buttons after the pay run. However, you can then run an update or a finalization at any time. All these reports are available to you, many, many reports. Happy to go through it with you if you ever wanted a demo. Sean, over to you.
Thank you, Jules, and thanks, Sophia. That was fantastic. Let me just jump in and see if there are any further questions. There was one question, which was, I think you've already answered that though. Does MYOB Advanced link to a payroll clearinghouse? For superannuation, the answer there was yes, Advanced links to MYOB Pay Super. However, if you wanted to link to an alternate clearinghouse, we can certainly provide a file to upload as well. Another question's come in, can you set different payroll tax rates for all states? Jules, I believe you can. Do you want to just confirm that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely set tax rates for different states and apply those employees to those different tax states as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. One from Melissa. Do you allow shift swapping in workforce management? Sophia, I believe the answer is absolutely yes there, but if you wanted to just confirm that.
Yeah, the answer is yes. This can be initiated by both manager and employees.
Fantastic. There was a question I did see earlier about multiple ABNs, and obviously Advanced Payroll can run across multiple ABNs. We can store all the ABNs in one tenant. If so, or we can separate them into different tenants depending on the security and the requirements. But you could actually run a payroll easily across multiple ABNs all in one go, which is a huge benefit and time saver. So thanks for that question. All right, if there are any further questions, please just post them. We did want to just quickly circle onto just mention that there is obviously an implementation methodology that we would go through if we were lucky enough for you guys to move ahead with MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management with Kilimanjaro. We've got a very low risk approach to implementing software, and we would guide you through the process. I won't go through all the detail of all the steps right now, but there is a detailed path forward and does include obviously a full system design. We would build the system along with you, data migration, etc. Training being key, testing being key, and obviously a go live. So we would work through that whole process with you. Absolutely, that's at the core of what we do and who we are. We are actually running ahead of time for probably the first time I've seen in a very long time. But if there are no further questions, please feel free to drop off. We will provide the recording and distribute the recording, and as well as contact details should you wish to contact anyone regarding the presentation, with regards to MYOB Advanced Payroll and Workforce Management. Happy to have a conversation with you all. But thank you again for your time. Thank you to Sophia and Julia, much appreciated, and we look forward to hearing from you.